know you're here just very focused, and I'm surprised that many of you are still here at this hour. Either the market is so bad that you have no appointment, or you're just trying to find enough information and things that will help you and enhance. Okay, I'm just going to do justice for the next half an hour, but just pardon me that my topic is very specific, though I wish to talk about almost everything on a macro and the picture of the real estate, but I don't think it is right for me to do that because I've been asked to just focus on HDB, public housing. So I just humbly will cover this topic in the next 30 minutes. And I understand learned people with a lot of experience have already covered on the private property at the earlier segment and so on, and I trust it should be of a greater value add to you. Okay, when I look at it, the real estate market, how many of you honestly think 2015, would you do me a favor please? Because just now when the MC or the person who was facilitating asked, you know who awake, I think people were half dead. And I'm not so sure the market is that dead or not. Can I just humbly request, can every one of you just help me, please? All stand up. Everybody stand up now. Everybody. Just stretch yourself. Everybody stand up, please. Thank you. I mean, can you give a round of applause for, I will tell you for whom. Okay, thank you. Not for me. Because for the guy who next to you made an effort to stand up. Because there are people who still will not. So the people who made an effort, next thing, please take a seat. Greatly appreciate that. It's just a little bit of a change in the blood flow. Yeah. Can I just honestly, if you're not shy, we can do 1 or 2 live demonstrations. And this is actually helping yourself and someone else. In order to do that, you must do me a favor. But if you don't participate, it is nobody's gain, nobody's loss. All I want to know here is this. Just take 15 seconds to recollect back. For how many of you here, and being honest, take your right hand, please. Take your right hand. Yep. Put it near your heart. That means you're going to be honest. Okay? What I want here is this. 2015 was a better year than 2014. Put up your hand. And stand up, please. Must stand up. Stand up. Don't be shy. Stand up. Those people who saw that, ask them, encourage them to stand up. Give them a round of applause, continue, and get the rest of you. I thought many more. Okay, I think some of you were just shy, but I saw more hands. Okay, thank you very much. Take a seat. Honestly, if you ask me, in fact, yes, by 2015 was generally a better year than 2014, and it is proven by volume of transactions as reported by URA, by HDB. If you look at it, volume of transactions all increased by 20%. Public housing 2014 was 17,301 and last year was close to 19,000. And that goes to the private property as well. And then the rental market. So in terms of volume of transactions, last year was a better year than before. And then if you ask me, what is the outlook is going to be for 2016? And I'm absolutely certain it will be better than 2015. Believe me or not. Doesn't matter, even if it doesn't happen, you better believe me. Because it's the start of the year. And even if the market, who cares? Even if it goes down, the bottom line here is this. Out of the 25,000 salespeople, the 500 of you here, for you better be a better year. That matters. Am I correct? So that's the way we count every singular day of your real estate business, how it matters to you. Not about the economy of the world or the Singapore, that it goes up and down and you want to discuss about it. How does it give you money? Nothing there. Am I correct? You have to be so laser focused in your strategy moving forward. Where are the windows of opportunity in every year? And one thing very classic, I think, in fact, I tell you, salespeople who are smarter this period of time earns so much more working less, period. You agree or don't agree? In a very good moving market, developers give 0.5%. And look at you, treat you like a dirt, including bosses like us, as a bigger dirt. No big deal, no big deal. Today we are treated like king and queens in the eye of developer. So, and they are prepared to give you 2%, 3%, 4%. Executive condominium, 2.5%. Never in the history happened such things. So, the market is to our favor in terms of being rewarded for success. Am I correct? Then you have to decide which path that you want to take that will give you greater income and so that your loved one is taken care of. Period. So that's why I'm extremely excited about this whole market, is because please don't think that I brag about it. I know not only my company, I know one or two other bigger companies have a similar stories. So please don't get me wrong. I take the stage and I just trying to talk about my company. No, I don't want. I've got no such cheap desires. No. But I'm just, if I share any of these things, to prove to you a point that the market is really good. And it has been proven. Even for my own company, 2015 was the record performance ever since I started real estate business as a company 15 years ago. And how was that possible? Because it gives you a better opportunity to seize in a not so good market. And that's why I think 2016 will be the best market. If I just want to share with you, there's one thing or one phrase that I can give it to you. This is not part of our HDB update, you know. I mean, I haven't started with my slides yet. Yep. I think one of the phrase that you could use after you leave, the minute you meet your clients and so on, here is this. You can say, I'm an expert. I attended a seminar. You don't need to say who it is. It really doesn't matter. I said, 2016, according to him, and I've done my own little research. And where the research come from? PropertyGuru, you can say, it doesn't matter. Yep. But the thing here is 2016 is the year where one should seriously look into their property portfolio. Period, full stop. 2016 is a year every singular property owner should seriously look into his property portfolio. Doesn't matter even if he owns a HDB or a private or whatever property. Even if he's just renting a place, he should look at it. Why? Because, you know, the rental markets are going down. He can always change and get another rental, a newer development, just TOP, brand new kitchen cabinet and wardrobe at a lower price than is existing. Am I not correct? But do you have that ability to reach out to have those database and so on? And that goes to your public housing, your private property, and then a huge upside as far as the real estate market is concerned. So the idea here is this. And not forgetting the fact, actually, it gives you a lot more of bullet right now. Right now, each and every one of you got a lot of bullets to connect to your customers. The first thing you can start to phone and to just talk here is this: federal interest rates are going up. My friend, are you still in your floating rate? Let me tell you, can I keep an appointment to explain to you the risk of you continuing with the floating rate versus why I think a fixed rate, at least for the next 2 years, will save you how much? It gives you a door to open the door and knock and talk to people. And that goes to the public housing. Why you think public housing is no more an asset class? In my opinion, public housing today is no more an asset class. And it was not meant to be, though, in the long term. But unfortunately, in the past, public housing has appreciated so much that people have viewed it as an asset class, and people were trying to make money out of it. But moving forward, it was not intended to be, and I accept that. But does people know that? And which means for every singular person who owns 1 million owners of public housing, for those people who can afford, what is the right action they should be doing? Maybe they should upgrade to an EC or a mass market condo. But do you have the conviction and the belief to be able to connect to them and talk to them? I tell you, that's why the market is so huge, my friends. So huge that you can't handle. if you really want to do a right thing and go and talk to their customers or even strangers with the passion and with the confidence of adding value in their lives, you will be super busy 2016. And you'll be stressed because you have too much money you don't know how to spend at the year end. Okay, fine. Let me just go to the outlook and whatever I wanted to spend in the next half an hour within the time slot that I wanted to highlight. Most important disclaimer, whatever I say, don't believe. Or don't use me. Okay, if you want to use me as what I'm saying, please use your own discretion. I may even have errors in any of my data or whatever it is. To the best of the knowledge, I've just assembled some of those things here and so on. As late as 31st December 2015, you know this is always the very frequent updates that you will hear. Too early to lift property curbs, says Minister, which is less than 2 weeks. And it is not new. And you ask my humble personal opinion, and I will also say the same thing, there is no sense of urgency for the government to tweak any cooling measures. Why? And that's a simple question they're going to ask. And is it because salespeople are trying to find it difficult to survive, therefore I need to go and tweak the cooling measures? No. By and large, the property prices have marginally dropped over the years, and there are few concerns. Some of the concerns I can accept. Some of the key concerns, as far as from a macro perspective, the government thinks here is this. The federal interest rates are expected to keep going up in the next couple of quarters. So there is some form of uncertainty as far as interest rates are concerned. Number two, the global economy outlook is not so certain. You look at it in many Nasdaq from China to many of the stocks and exchange, is all not doing well. Economy outlook is very well. And third point, there's still a huge surplus amount of liquidity. Europe and elsewhere, when you relax the rules, funds are going to come in very fast. Safe haven, where you will try to just buy properties and buildings and investments and so on. What will all these things do? Drive up the prices very quickly. When prices drive up very quickly, what will happen? Singaporeans will not be happy. But that does not necessarily mean I am agreeable to all cooling measures. I always felt, sometimes I'm so worried because it's all videotaped, suddenly they put wherever, and then I still cannot call for not other coffee or what, I'm also worried. So I just want to say, whoever who's hearing, it's just my opinion, I can be wrong. Yeah. So some of my simple opinion here is this. I always see is, because the cooling measures were many rounds, some are irrelevant. Like when you make first measure, second measure, third measure, when you come out with the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh, in between some of the layers could be removed. And we all know TDSR will never be removed. And we have to accept that fact, my friends. If any one of you still thinking and hoping the TDSR will be relaxed, it will not happen. If they ever do an announcement on a Friday, because usually measures are on a Friday. Yep. And if it has got to do with TDSR, then it is not going to be good news. You know why? Two things can happen. One, the current 3.5% interest rate which they do can go up to maybe 4.5 to buffer the increasing of the interest rate, which will bring down your quantum of loan. Number two, not so good news you ever will hear will be the 60% TDSR can drop to 50%, which is intended in the long term, believe me. But we do not know. So please don't ever even have the slightest hope that TDSR will be tweaked or changed. It's just, if ever happen, it's not to our advantage. So let that be. The only honest thing that if ever is likely to happen, and I'm quite certain it will not happen in the first 6 months of this year, not likely at all in the first 6 months, is ABSD. And that's what a lot of people are asking for and crying for. Why can't we calibrate the ABSD, particularly for the high-end properties, which doesn't affect the Singaporean, and for the foreigners? Why must it be 15%? Number two, is it a sin for Singaporean to buy a second property within the TDSR guideline, and why do you penalize him by an additional 7%? After all, a Singaporean can only buy within his TDSR limit. So actually, either way, I'm not upset, you know. I'm really not upset. So please don't get me wrong, Mr. Ismail says he's upset. No, because with the cooling measures, we have done the best ever since I started the business. So if the cooling measures are not lifted for the next 1 year, I'm not going to cry about it. I think the tide is rough, and therefore I'm going to be focused, and I'm going to have a bigger market share, period, full stop. That is each and every one of you in this room should walk out at the end of the day thinking, doesn't matter cooling measures remove or not remove, it is going to give me a huge opportunity. Obviously, if the cooling measures are, say, totally removed, the developer is going to go back and give you 0.5%. And then you must close 5 units to get 1. Now you close 1. So it has got double sword. Do you agree? So, okay. So today that you come here, and since I'm the last speaker, I still haven't gone to the actual main topic that I'm supposed to talk. Maybe by the time the half an hour up, I say, I'm sorry, my friends, come for my proper seminar, which is another, yeah, because that much that I could achieve. But I think what is more important to me here is this. One of the reasons why some of the agents are doing very well in many companies, not necessarily in my company, in many companies. But for me, I decided something last year, beginning of last year. In fact, I decided that December 2014, when I look at the salespeople, it's better to have slightly less skilled, knowledgeable salesperson, but one who's highly excited and motivated for whatever reason. He will close more deals than one who's highly skilled and knowledgeable and no energy thinking the market is bad. You agree? I don't agree. That's the point. So the point here is, be excited for no reason. And then do the right thing. Obviously, you need a certain knowledge if you want to focus on certain things. But you don't need to come for PropertyGuru seminar, SRX seminar, this one seminar, that one seminar. Then it is not going to give you any results. Because you only have got knowledge. So the key thing here is action, activity, strategize, a particular... Actually, all of us just need to lock in one thing, one thing. We cannot be master of everything. And I'm sure in this auditorium of 500 people, you specialize in certain areas. It really doesn't matter even if you're a HDB owner. HDB salesperson focusing in that segment. All you need to do here is this. Have a self-belief and a conviction to say that this year, I just want to upgrade 15 HDB owners to get his dream home and an executive condo. That's it, period, full stop. I am also trying to tell you, don't be motivated by money. Honest truth, believe me. This is honest. This is my... I became rich because I don't pray to money. Believe me, this is truth. The day when you start to pray to money, what will happen? You will be blinded. And when you are blinded, what will you do? You will cut corners. And when you cut corners, you will not run your life and your business with the right set of values, period. And therefore, don't pray to money. Always think of value-add proposition. In that process, you make huge amount of money. And that's the thing about life. Okay, sorry, better not talk. Better go to this. Yeah, my goodness. Okay, now coming back to... So at least from this one slide, you know cooling measures is going to be here. And we welcome that, period. Next thing, BTO flat supply to raise to 15,000 this year, because all these are 31st December. Last year was 15,000, and this is going to increase to 18,000. And there were a lot of journalists who was calling me and thinking like that and asking, how is it going to impact the HDB resale? Very little, minimal, in fact, not at all, in my view. Because the BTO segment and the resale segment are totally, by and large, 90% are two different segments of group of people. And we will look at it in terms of, you see, as much as many of us who think that cooling measures must be tweaked, there will be consumers who will write to the forum and say, make some property curbs permanent. Additional buyer stamp duty and seller stamp duty to allow the property market to regain its liquidity. Time is hot to remove. Yeah? There will always be another side of a story. People may not understand it, or people may always think from a buyer's perspective, don't remove when the prices start to go up, then I cannot want to achieve, I cannot enter the market. So that's why it is not as easy as what we think that it is right. So as an authority, they will have to juggle the macro perspective, the demand, supply, the economy, and the buyers and the sellers' sentiments. Okay, now finally we come to my topic, public housing. It's the time now. Okay, Ken, let me just finish it up very fast. There were many good news that was announced after the SG50 National Day rally and so on. Income ceilings up from 10 to 12 and 14,000 for ECs, and as well as more grants and so on. These are all the additional grants for those of you should be very familiar about. But where is the price heading? If you look at it in terms of the price, almost after 9 quarters, for the first time, we had a positive growth that took place in the last quarter of last year. And then if you want to look at it, the detail, this is for the overall, year on year. You see, public housing in the past went up as much as 14%, 2008. There was a little of a blip in 2009 because of the Lehman crisis. And then market was not so confident. And thereafter, you see, bounce back again to another 14%, 2010. And then you had another 10%. And then even after 2011, the elections, and while the cooling measures were coming in, 6%. Only the last 3 years, sanity took place. And then the public housing started to have a correction. And then even if you look at it, 1.3 was minus less than 1%, 1.4 was 6%, but last year was only 1.5%. That means the market have come to a stage of stabilization. And then when you look at the quarters, this was what I meant by the number of quarters, negative, negative, negative. But then again, you can see a trend from the third quarter of 2014. The drop from 1.7 come to 1.5 to 1 to minus 0.4 to minus 0.3, and then turn the tide towards a positive. So it is a very clear signal. It was not erratic in cyclical up and down. It was a clear sign of the drop has becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and it turned towards a positive. That does not necessarily mean the first quarter will be positive. Even if it is a negative, the negative is going to be very minimal, 0 point something. Yep. So, and that's why it becomes more attractive for people to come and pick up actually the resale properties in overall. And this is as far as the numbers. In fact, if you look at it, you see, this is what I meant by in 2014. 17,318. 2013 was 18,100 resale. Last year, 18,980. Almost 19,000. Has a volume of increase? Yes. And this year, my projection here is this. It will hit close to, or may even marginally surpass 20,000. Why so? Because the price points are so attractive where many of the newly married couple need not even wait for a BTO. Zero cash, below cash. And then if you look at it further scrutinized, you will look at it in terms of what happened in the whole of 2015, but I didn't total up for you. The 5-room and the executive compared to 2014 sold more than 20% or 25%. Therefore, if you look at it like you take an executive in 2014, 1,100, but you count all this, it's already 1,000, 3,400. So the bigger units of the public resale market is moving better because it is priced a bit lower and it is attractive for people to upgrade. And the fact that when people who sell in a bigger unit, your commissions, your rewards are also higher. So the market is turning towards a positive side. More active resale market in the making, which is already was something that we were looking at it. And therefore, in my honest personal opinion, nobody can have been so specific and precise. And I'm going to take a range, and I'm going to say the HDB prices for 2016 at its worst is likely to be minus 1%. Last year was minus 1.5. I'm saying worst is minus 1. And I will not be surprised a positive growth of 1 to 2%, maybe 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, which means the market for public housing, the tide has positively turned. But it is not like those years of 10%, 14%. And let me tell you, my friends, moving forward, I cannot visualize public housing ever increasing double digit in any singular year in the near future or for the longest period of time. Because the government have realized that's not the right thing to do. So what the government will do, greater supply and demand. Because 10% growth, those days is okay. When the property is 200,000, a 10% growth is 20,000. When the property today is 500,000, a 10% growth is 50,000 in a year. And that put a lot of strain on the newly married couples, and people become very unhappy because your income don't go up that much. Okay, so now you will see, but that's why when I say, I look at it, so if you use all these things, how can I just sum up to one client? Hi, Mr. Tan, when I look at this public housing, over the years and the last umpteen quarters, it has been negative. Now is the time it is turning to positive, but I don't expect it to go in a very high growth rate. This may be an opportune time for you to sell your property and at the same time reorganize your property portfolio to an executive condominium or private property of the mass market, whatever that you want to tell a story, which is in the truth. Okay, now let me just quickly touch on an EC. How is this EC market and why I think an EC is the proposition for any clients of yours who are currently owning a public housing and have already fulfilled the MOP, and also at the same time they are able to purchase one. We all know executive condos helping people meet their housing aspirations. That was our former National Development Minister, Mr. Corbyn, once said that. And he also said in a parliament, during a parliamentary debate in January, this referring to in 2014, in response to call from several members of parliament to scrap the scheme. And in the parliament, it was debated, say the EC must be removed, EC scheme. Mr. Kaur defended the very good scheme as relevant as it protects the middle-income Singaporean from competition while ensuring a market-friendly way to allowing them to buy a condominium at a very affordable price. He then added, if I can give you an analogy, it's like offering you a Lexus at the price of a Corolla, but only Singaporeans have this privilege, and they know in due course the price will go up above the level of a Lexus. This was a minister's comment in parliament debating against other member of parliament who said we should scrap it. He said no. I mean, this speaks volume why your client should upgrade. It's a privilege of a Singaporean. And then that's where I think you can add greater value. Okay, so EC stay relevant amid of the exciting developments and so on. There are a few other articles that if you want to read. And I think what is important here is this, there are still window of opportunity for your clients to pick up the unsold EC's units where the land were bidded before 9th December. And these are some of these developments that your client need not pay levy. And thereafter will be subjected to also TDSR was as per se, and also the levy. And if you look at it, some of these examples, yes, the gap has a bit narrowed, and I just give you an example here will be, if you take the Westwood residence, Westwood residence is an EC subjected to, Westwood was the first EC to be subjected to resale levy. And you look at the price, average price was $803 per square foot, versus a Lakeville is $1,300 average price for last year. And therefore, you see the price at the entry level. Obviously, a Lakeville location and Westwood is not comparable. Lakeville is much closer to the MRT. Westwood is not. But nevertheless, because if you look at it as Jurong as a region in the master plan of the future, and even if, let's say, Westwood after 10 years, when fully privatized, I think the per square foot of a Westwood should be at least be 1,001, 1,002. Because 10 years later, what will this be? Somebody who bought it at 1,003, my friend, 10 years later, what must it be? At least 1,516. 10 years of inflation of 2% is already 20%. But inflation is more than 2% in 10 years down the road. And therefore, if this is 1,516, the Lakeville in 10 years down the road, what will be the Westwood residence price be? Fully privatized. Even if you buy at 1,300, while this is 1,600, $300 per square foot cheaper, yet you buy at 800 and you sell at 1,003, you make $500 profit per square foot, and you buy an EC of 1,000 square foot, you make a $500,000 capital appreciation. If you talk like that, why the client don't listen to you? Yeah, but this is a real value proposition you're talking to them, how you can add value. And again, these are some of the previous examples. Yep. Those people who bought those ECs in 2000, 2003, or 2005, 10, 11, 12, 15 years ago, and if you compare their average prices of today, all have gone up by 100% or more. And that's the same value proposition that we are talking about, an EC investor who buy now because he's entering at a discounted price, as just now what I have highlighted, and 800 versus at 1,002 and 1,003, and plus after the 5-year and the 10-year upon TOP, when it is privatized and foreigners can buy, and there's a surge in price, and that's where there's a huge upside to be taken. These are some of the ECs without resale levy, but if you look at it, many are sold like 98%, 95%. That's what I say, like Bellwoods and the Amore and the Terrace. This is not very accurate, but I think, but marginally, if you ask me, they still got 50, 60, 40% of these properties not having to pay levy. And that's a huge advantage. And the levy is 40,000 or 50,000 if it is a 4-room or 5-room. You're helping your client to save at entry level at the per square foot, cheaper, plus save another 40, 50,000 of levy, and then they can still buy a property, any of these things, which are likely to be TOP in less than 18 months. Because when many of these things was launched, all these property were launched in 1/4. That means they were launched 1 year ago, more than 12 months ago. And you know for ECs, before they are launched, they can only launch after how many months from the land bid? 15 months. 15 months plus 12 months, 27, 30 months, almost 2.5 years gone. So if any of your client go and pick up any of these units, they only need to wait for another 1.5 years. And they will collect the keys. And then they got a huge upside and benefit. No levy. And most of these development, high commission some more. I mean, it just end up like that because the developer's trying to clear the stock. So there are many positive points for you. So where do you want to strategize? These are some of the ECs with resale levy. As I said, Westwood was the first one. Brownstone is doing relatively well because of the MRT. Wales Soul Acres. Soul Acres is huge number, 1,300 units, the biggest executive condominium in Singapore. But they still have got a fair number. Yep, and many more. Akan Datang, which is Park Life and the Wonder Whale is going to, within this month and so on, and some in this quarter, and many others that are coming up. So, how do I see it as far as the market is concerned? And I see that the market is very, very vibrant. Public housing market, volume increase 1.5, volume will continue to increase in 1.6. Prices consolidated, stabilized, lesser drop, possibly a positive growth in the resale market. Therefore, what you should be doing here is this: to reach out to all your clientele base, to give them the value proposition. As I said at the beginning of my speech, 2016 is a year where every singular property owner should look at it from how does he change his property portfolio for the mid and the long-term good. And I must also say, today is still a buyer's market, and this buyer's market will not remain long because cooling measures are only meant for a short period of time, and it cannot be cooling forever. The earliest, the tweaking of cooling measures I expect earliest, I'm not hopeful, will be second half of this year. Marginal calibration, not removal, if ever happen. If it is not, likely to be next year only. But the minute any of this calibration takes place, what is the sentiment? The sentiment will become more positive. When it becomes more positive, it is no more a buyer's market. So that's why I see 2016 is a golden period where people should be very serious about the property portfolio, and salespeople should go all out to make a difference, to help them achieve what is right for them. And in the process, if you earned your income, that's your blessing. So take it from that angle, go all out and go into it. So that's as far as my today's topic. But what I want to let you know here is this. I do post every 2 weeks. In fact, probably in 3 days' time, I will post one more video clip. I just posted at the 4th of January a video clip on the private property market, which is not my topic today, if you want to go in here. But I think even if you want to go back, I think there's 1 or 2 more video clips that you can go, but you must search in the month of November when I gave a speech, and you can look at it for SOE, Spirit of Enterprise, a 15-minute speech. Be as an entrepreneur, what are the 4 things that you should do? A concept of, oh my God. If you want to be successful, you better have the oh my God. Why I'm sharing, some of you won't even bother to go and see where I'm asking you to say. Might as well I say, oh my God will give you whatever you want. And what is the oh my God? The O is obsession. You must be obsessed to do the right thing. Am I correct? Without obsession, there's no excitement. Without excitement, nothing happens. Only fantasy happens without that. But no action, okay? But then you must come with the M. The M is the massive action. You're obsessed with a strategy. Where is your massive action? If it doesn't work, what else you could do? And finally, the G, the guidance of grace. We can all be champion, we think. Sometimes you need that quiet moment for that guidance, because we can't achieve all by ourselves. So with the guidance, go back, strengthen your motivation, have the positive energy, go to the being obsessed about it. You will achieve more than whatever that you want to achieve. It is not all about money. It's all about being complete life of happiness, and to make meaning that next year when you see, I've done a good job and I'm happy about it. That should be. Therefore, if you want more of these such nuggets and dosages of whatever thing, you have got no alternative, because I love everyone regardless of which company you come from. But if you want to know more, you go and like my PropNex Realty Facebook. Yeah? And doesn't matter. You can always be where you are. You don't need to cross to my company. As I talk, you get the information. Talk to your client, bring the client, and if you go and close one up Mori or Westwood, my agent will still be standing there to close. So we all win. That's the way I look at it. So you cannot be very scarcity mentality of myopic to say, hey, no. I think we should look at industry at large. The more we go out there to do greater good for people, all of us will benefit. It doesn't matter where we come from. So that's my best advice. Stay focused. This is the start of the year. Wish you great health, and I may probably keep track and keep updated to you in my Facebook. God bless. Thank you.